Here we go. Here we go.
2, 3,
Here we go. What's up, guys and dolls? I don't know why I always use that intro. Before we get started, I kind of want to do a little contents just so we know where this video is going and how it's going to be set out. We're going to start off with a brief history, some general guidance, and then some obligatory reassurance. So starting off with a brief history of myself. For my AS subjects, I chose to study English literature, history, art, and French. And for my AS results, I received 3 A's in English literature, history, and art, and a C in French. Now, I don't want this to come across as like me kind of finding an excuse for why I didn't do as well, but there is genuinely a reason why I didn't do as well in my French AS exam. And then I did actually mention this in my reference as a kind of extenuating circumstances thing about why I didn't do as well in this exam. And I just wanted to mention this because if something does happen to you, say something at home in your personal life or with a relative, and it affects you quite severely during the exam period, you can get your referee to mention this in your reference. And it actually, like, I feel like some universities do understand and take into account when something has happened to you and it has affected your exam results. This doesn't just go for personal issues, but also like if you have a disability that may have significantly impacted your ability to complete a certain exam. And then so obviously for my A levels, I chose to carry on English literature, history, and art, and I managed to achieve 3 A stars. Now the odyssey of my A levels is over. Time for some general guidance. I have made 2, I think I made 3. I've made a couple of videos already on my A level art. Do check them out if you want more of a detailed overview of how to get an A star in your art A level. Right now I'm just going to focus primarily on English literature and history. So it's really important to figure out what kind of learner you are. Are you an auditory learner, a kinesthetic learner, or a visual learner? Being able to understand how you learn most effectively is what's going to help you the most when it comes to finding the appropriate method that really helps you retain information. For me personally, I am more of a visual / auditory learner, so when it comes to revision, I used to make loads and loads of flashcards and actually verbalize the information that I'd written down, and I'd also use different coloured highlighters to, for example in history, I'd use a certain highlighter to highlight key dates, another colour to highlight key figures, and just having the visual colours relating to different like areas that I needed to remember really helped me personally, just because I respond very well to visual stimuli. I feel like in history highlighting is really useful just because there's so many dates to remember. Different coloured highlighters, if you're a visual learner, will really help you in just ingraining all that information into your long-term memory. So my 3rd tip is to do practice. Just do a shit ton of practice essays, because that is what's going to help you, especially in essay-based subjects like English and history, because it's very much so a case of how you choose to word an argument, how you structure your argument, which is almost sometimes, most of the time, like half of what you're going to be marked on. For me personally, I found that being able to have essays and being able to have them constantly marked and like know what I needed to improve on is what helped me the most. It's all about, I feel like at A level it's not so much the same at degree level, but at A level it's more about hitting the right criteria and making sure you tick those boxes, and doing practice essays will really help you identify what boxes you're not ticking and how you can improve on doing that. So speaking of examiners and mark schemes, my 4th tip is to look at examiners' reports, and please just look at the mark scheme. Make sure you're filling all the criteria. Make sure you go through the mark scheme religiously. Examiners' mark schemes are really useful in knowing what examiners want to see and want to hear, and how they want to hear it. See what I'm getting at here? In terms of art, I'm just gonna, because I have obviously made 2 separate videos, I will link them somewhere so you can go find them. But when you do your art A-level, the 4 tips I always tell people is development, experimentation, primary research, and I can't remember the 4th one actually. What was it? Okay, so the 3 most important tips are experimentation, primary research, and development. 1, examiners love to see you experiment with different styles, different ideas. Being able to show how you're improving and how your ideas are changing is something that's really important when it comes to doing your A-level. Examiners want to see how you go from point A to point B to point C. They're not so much interested, I feel, in your final product. I mean, well, they are interested obviously in your final product. That is important. But they're also really interested in how you've come to this idea and what kind of processes you went through to get to this final idea. Primary research is also really important. That's like your own photos, your own drawings, your own sketches. They know who Andy Warhol is, but who are you? Now for an obligatory dose of reassurance. Let me tell you, A-levels are hard, but I lived through them, and if I could do it, anyone can really do it. And obviously, while they're hard, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy them. When you're picking your AS levels, your AS subject, just remember that these subjects are springboards for the rest of your academic career if you choose to go to university, maybe even if you choose to do an MA and a PhD and whatever. So choose wisely. AS levels are really important in ensuring that your predicted grades are good so that you can get into university. So don't slack during your ASs, trust me. It will really, really affect you when you're applying to universities and when choosing what kind of universities you are able to apply to. If you follow my guidelines and advice, you'll be hunky-dory, you'll be fine.